Okay, so for this next one, we're going to go ahead and do something that's a little bit harder, but I think you guys will be able to keep up. So let's see what we have here. Here's another decimal square, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full columns. So we're going to say that that's 0.6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we have is 65 hundredths to start with. And we're going to be adding to it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this guy's a little weird because he's actually like 100th square, or 1,000th square actually, if I think about it. And we go and we count these little tiny yellow pieces. You might not be able to see them, but there's 5 of them there. So we have 475 thousandths. That's a mouthful. I almost said it wrong, but there it is. So let's go ahead and look at them on our big decimal squares. We're going to color another big one in. It's beautiful and wonderful. And we're going to take our green and start coloring. And it's going to end up looking something like this. Wonderful! So you can see I just made a big version of our first one, which is 0.65, 65 hundredths. And then we're going to go ahead and color in our next one. This one I'm going to actually let you watch me color because it's a little more complicated. Because as you can see, we have all of this extra space here. So we're going to go ahead and color 1, 2, 3 columns, because that's all we can color that's left on here. Okay? And color those all the way in. Beautiful, wonderful, amazing. Just like that. So that's 3 columns from here, and we still have 1 more full column. So let's just grab another decimal square and color 1 more full column before we move on to the other ones. Okay? Karen likes coloring. She's yelling in the background about coloring. And now she's laughing at us. So then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 full columns. Oops, let me throw my paper. And 1, 2, 3, 4 are here. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we can color 5 of them in on our other one. Great. So that's 5, and then 6, 7 over here. Okay, and now let's not forget about our tiny little guys here. And they're actually right here. There they are. Beautiful, wonderful. So how does that add up? We end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 holes colored in. And then 1, 2 squares. And then 5 little ones. So we put our decimal right here because we have 1 hole, and that equates to 1 onto the left of the decimal, and then we move over to the right of the decimal, and we have 1 full column, which is our tenths, so 1 in the tenths. We have 2 little squares, which is our hundredths, and we have 5 little teeny guys over here, and they're in our thousandths. So we end up with 1 and 125 thousandths. Ugh, mouthful. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and just do the regular addition. Okay, so just like we did in the last video, we're going to do regular addition on these guys. And what you want to remember is that you have to line up your place values. It's super important. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with 0.475. Okay, which is 475 thousandths. And then we're going to add in our 0.65, or our 65 hundredths. Now a lot of people want to write it here and line up the numbers 5 to 5, but you don't want to do that. You want to line up your place values. So with our tenths here, we know our 6 is going to go right below our 4 because our 4 is in the tenths place and our 6 is in the tenths place. And our 5 is going to go right here in the hundredths place. Our decimal is going to go here. They line up perfectly. And then I like to add a 0 here. It just makes more sense to me to have that little reminder not to accidentally move my 5 over. Okay, so then let's just go ahead and add that up. So we get 5. It looks like we're going to have 12, carry the 1, and then we end up with 11. And our decimal, of course, I'm just going to bring it comes straight down like this. Okay, so you can see we end up with 1 and 125 thousandths, and that's wonderful and amazing. And let's go ahead and look at that in fractions. This is where a lot of people get super confused, so just try to follow along. Okay, so we end up with, we have our 0.65, which is 65 hundredths. We're going to go ahead and turn that into a fraction. And this is just like what we did at the end of the other video, okay? So we end up with 6 tenths, beautiful, plus 5 hundredths. Right? Because our 6 is in the tenths place and our 5 is in the hundredths place. That makes me so happy. Okay? Now let's do our next one. Our next one is a little more tricky, as you could tell, because it ends up with a thousandths. Okay? So what we have here is 475 thousandths. So we have 4 in our tenths place, 4 tenths, 5, 7, there it is, 7 hundredths, right? And 5 thousandths. Beautiful. So we have our 4 in our tenths place. I'm just going to write these out for you guys because I love you. And 5 thousandths. Notice how I can't seem to spell hundredths. That's okay. Let's see. There it is. Because Karen doesn't like misspelling. So there's my D. There we go. And what should we do next? Oh, that's right. So we're going to go ahead and get some common denominators, just like last time. I do mine kind of slowly. I like to break it all the way down. And at the end of me doing mine, I'm going to have Karen do a faster way for you. Okay? So what I like to start with is changing my tenths into hundredths, because then I have nice common denominators with the next number to them. So let's start with 6 over 10, 6 tenths, okay? And I want to get a common denominator of 100. So I'm going to multiply it by 10. And whatever I do to the bottom of my fraction, I should do to the top. So that's why I'm doing 10 over 10, which is really just 1. And we end up with 60 over 100. Beautiful, wonderful. And let me see, do I have another tenth here? Yes, we have 4 over 10 as well. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and multiply that by 10 over 10. And we're going to get 40 over 100. Okay, great. So let's just go ahead and add those together since they're right here. So we have 60 over 100 plus 40 over 100. And we end up with 100 over 100. That's weird, but we're going to leave it like that. That's okay. Don't panic. So now we're going to take our 100 over 100, which freaks me out and makes me uncomfortable. We're going to add our other hundredths to it. So we have 100 over 100. Terrifying. Don't like that. And we're going to add our 5 hundredths from up here. Okay. And we're also going to add our 7 hundredths from up here. And we end up with, let me think, 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 112 over 100. And that's a little less scary, and I'm not sure why. That's okay too. So now all we have left to deal with is our 5 thousandths. So we need to get our 112 hundredths into the thousandths place, right? Awesome. So let's go ahead and let's take our 112 over 100. And let's multiply that by 10. Beautiful. And we want to get to the thousands. So we're going to end up with 1,120 over 1,000. Beautiful, wonderful, love it. And then we're going to add to it our 5 over 1,000. And we end up with 1,125 over 1,000. Awesome. That's great. So when we go ahead and reduce that down, and I know you guys are eager to do that because this is a crazy, ridiculous, improper fraction, you end up with 1 whole and then 125 thousandths. And that was just like we had colored in earlier. You can see our 1 whole and our 125 thousandths. Beautiful, awesome. I hope this helps. Karen's going to go ahead and show you her way really quick. And cool.
Alright, we're doing a quick version of the fractional equivalent problem to go with our 0.65 plus 0.475, which is 65. What are the green squares? They're 100ths, right? 65 100ths plus the teeny weeny little yellow dudes. Those are all thousandths, and we're in the thousandths place here. So this is 475 thousandths, which I can't say or pronounce any better than Ariel can either. Okay, so we need common denominators. I just go in right here. I go 10 tenths to turn our hundredths into thousandths, and then we get 650 hundredths plus 475 thousandths. It's thousandths both times. Do I need to go back and start over? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Okay, so now all we got to do is add our 650 plus our 475, because they're both the same things. They're both thousandths, so we can just add them like we know how to add anyway. And we get 11. Okay, but that was just me doing a side thing, so ignore that. So this is 1125, or 1,125 1,000ths, which is really 1,000 1,000ths, with sort of like that scary thing that scared Ariel earlier. It scares lots of people. And there's 120 or 125 thousandths. And this is really where the fractional equivalent of our decimal answer comes from. This was 1, right? Isn't this thing right here just a big old fat 1, right? 1 and 125 thousandths, which is 1 and 125 thousandths, which if you write this in English, 1 and 125 thousandths, which I'm not writing English words right now, but if I did, that would be the same as this 1 decimal 125 thousandths, which is what we got when we did the decimal thing.